what I'm going to have you do in a couple minutes is get back into your trios from yesterday. And you're going to have the opportunity to create your personal leadership declaration. This is an anchor for you, especially those of you in the T3. This is what we're going to be using until, of course, if you want to change it, you can. But it's what we're going to be using for you throughout your process as a plumb line. This is going to be true. You're going to create it. It's going to be true because you say it's true about who you are and your leadership. So you're going to get into your trios. You're going to begin by brainstorming all of the characteristics you're committed to embody as a leader. So it could be like courageous, passionate, empathetic, like whatever it is. And in your notebook there, you can just write down as many words as you can think of that for you have meaning and connect to your vision as the type of leader that you are committed to be. What are you presencing in this world with your leadership? And you're just going to write it. Then you're going to share with your trio your words and just ask for some feedback. And your trio can help you hone it down. Like I think this one fits more than this one. And obviously you also have agency, so you can say which ones you like the best, which ones fit best for you. And you are going to pick 3. Maybe 4. That would be okay. It's up to you. People are always like, what if I have 4? Well, have 4 then. That's fine. You do you, okay? But you're going to put it into a declaration that looks like, I am a blank, blank, blank leader. Courageous, passionate, empathetic leader, for example. And once you get clear on what those 3 are, you're going to write that down. Then in your trio, one at a time, when you're clear, you're going to stand up and you're going to make the declaration out loud. You're going to say it. And the other 2 people in your trio, if they get that you are owning this statement, if they're like, woo, I felt it, then they're going to clap and you're going to come write it on a piece of paper, a sticky piece. You're going to write it. I am a blank, blank, blank leader. You're going to sign your name to it. You're going to rip it off, and you're going to paste it somewhere around the room. Boom. Okay? Now, if someone's standing up in your trio and they're saying it, but you're like, you're not really owning that. You're kind of like hedging, then tell them, go again. Go again. You're just going to have them go again until you get that they own it. And then once they own it, write it, sign it, put it around the room. So at the end of the exercise, we'll have 18 of these all around the room. Any questions? Okay, get into your trios. If you have questions once you get into your trios, let me know, but get into your trios, do your brainstorming, come up with your 3, and go from there. Fantastic. What I'm going to ask you to do right now is turn to the page that says Conversations for Action. So here's what you get to do. You get to write down some specific action steps that will support your declaration. Whether it's at home or at work, doesn't really matter. What are some specific tangible steps that you can take, things that are measurable, things that are observable, that will bring your declaration to life, that'll give it legs, that you can point to in 2 weeks, 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, and say, this is the result of this commitment. This is what this commitment looks like in real life with the people that I am with every day. So get some very specific action steps. When you say action, this is your commitment, which is your declaration. You can use promising and requesting. You can ask, on that one column it says promise/request. That means you might need to make a promise to someone or make a request of someone or both in order to fulfill your action step. So there's room for 10. Start writing. Get as many as you can down there. And then I'm going to have you go back into your trios in about 20 minutes and then let your trio give you some feedback again on some of your action steps. Like, are they tangible? Are they measurable? Are they time specific? You really want things that are going to be risks, not something that's just going to happen anyway. Not like I'm going to wake up and breathe tomorrow. Okay, guess what? That's going to happen anyway. We want something that is going to break a pattern and be new action. New action that you've not ever taken before that will fulfill your commitment to your leadership declaration. Does that make sense? Questions? So this is an opportunity for you to really stretch yourself, to put yourself out there, to think of those relationships, situations in life that are most important to you, and reach for this declaration. So other people experience it, so it's real to them, not just real to you. If you have questions, let me know. Otherwise, take about 20 minutes and just write. I'm going to share every single action step, share a few of them, and make sure you give each other feedback. If you don't know how it's going to be measurable, or if it doesn't have a time frame on it, if it doesn't sound like it's new or breaking a pattern, just give them feedback to help them adjust it, okay, so that we have something that everybody's working on a plan that's going to further their commitment. So go ahead and do that. Get with your people. Take another 15 minutes. How is that process, writing it out, but also just getting some feedback, bouncing it off people? What was that like? Is it productive, helpful? Challenging? Normally when you think about your vision and you write down action steps, do you take the time to share it with people? No. Yeah. Get some feedback, like, hey, does this sound like a stretch? Am I living in comfort? Is this tangible? So it's a great resource. Others, super great resource in our lives. Because everything, when I'm looking at my own things, I only see what I see. And anybody else can see something I can't see. So it's great. It's just a great discipline, whether you do it on your teams at work or in your family, to really, pardon me? Oh, yeah. Just get together, collaborate, and see what comes out of that. It's a great bonding, too, for people. People love to be a part of each other's life in that way and process. So we are going to do one more exercise before we wrap up today. And this exercise is called the Appreciation Mingle. So appreciation, I want you to think about appreciation in terms of being detailed, in terms of being specific. I mean, here we are in the beautiful wine country, and for those of us that like wine, when we appreciate wine, we're swirling it around and sticking our nose in the glass, and we're doing all these things that take the time to appreciate the details of the wine and the nuances and the things that differentiate it from a different type of wine or a different glass of wine. And much more valuable, of course, than wine is our relationships with each other. And so in this 10 minutes, you don't need to get to everybody. You don't even need to get to half of everybody. It's just an opportunity to be really clear on what you've appreciated about a couple of people, and be specific. So we'll stand up, you'll go over to them, and you'll just share, hey, this is what I've appreciated about you. And be detailed, be specific, let them know specifically what I've appreciated. Okay, so this is not your high school yearbook, like, you're really cool and awesome, see you next time. So this is specifics, right? This is details. That's right, I love you.
To some people, that may be kind of deep.
It may be. I'm not talking about deep, I'm just talking about detailed. So, yeah, it's different. So, be willing to appreciate someone in the specifics. Okay? There's an expression, love is in the details. I believe it is. I believe that is where it most fully gets communicated and received. So take 10 minutes. Everybody stand up, take 10 minutes. Go to who you need to go to. Don't worry about getting to everybody. And I'll give you some time markers. Okay, look at all that appreciation. How was that exercise?
Why
Yeah.
can't we just start with that?
I know, right? So that's a portable exercise. You can take that with you. You can do that anywhere. It's awesome. Works great around the dinner table.
Not copyrighted?
Not copyrighted. Just feel free to do it. Do it whenever, whatever. So that's awesome. How many of you have experienced value over the last 2 days? Thank you. And thank you for producing it and creating it through your willingness, right, and your participation. So I want to check back in. These are the reasons yesterday, which maybe feels like 3 days ago, I'm not sure, about why you're here. I'm going to check back in. How did you do? How did we do as a team here with our commitment? How did we do on courage? Yeah? Hope? Humility? Sounds like that's homework. I don't know. Passion? Legacy? Presence? Healing? Love? Generosity? Did you get some blind spot exploration?
More than I bargained for.
Encouragement? Championing others? Vulnerability? Woo! Vision? Seeing opportunity? Freedom? How's your connection? Good? Abundance? Trust? Openness? All right, give yourselves a hand. Awesome. So if you're not familiar with Gap Community, this is our website address. Please look on there, and we are just about to launch our first online course, which we're very excited about. By just about means I'm not exactly sure when, but sometime in the next couple weeks. The beta is out there now, being whatever you do with betas, like look through and experience, yeah. And we'll get feedback and then we'll tweak. And so we should have it out 100% before the end of the year, but I'm not sure how soon. So we'll let you know when that's out, if that's something that is of interest to you, to go through the just an online process as well. We also, if you don't know, we have the Gap app. And it works on either iPhones or Androids. If you just do Gap, you're going to get clothing. So you have to do Gap Community. And the app is great because it has a lot of, we call them transformational tip, like Transformational Tip Tuesday, which might be a couple of questions or something to wonder about. We've got some devotionals on there that I've written just for daily, like let's just look at this today, and let's look at this today, and let's look at this today. Our schedule's on there, too, if you're interested in taking a deeper dive into some of our other offerings. So this is our 2-day training, the Transformational Leadership. Our 3-day is called Reveal. Our 4-day, which is probably our flagship training, is called Awaken. How many of you have done Awaken or some similar of Awaken? Okay, fantastic. The next one that's coming up that's on the schedule is January 17th through the 20th in Riverside. Now, you got to be really willing to take yourself on if you want to jump into this opportunity, but it's amazing. And most people that move through Awaken have one of their watershed experiences in life. They would say that these are the top 1 or 2, 3 things in my life that set a stake in the ground for me to shift trajectories or to reach vision or to have something new, huge and unprecedented open up in my life. So check out our Awaken training coming up. Our schedule is not fully populated for next year yet. It will be by the end of November. We have our partner conference every year, which is coming up mid-November. And so after that, we'll have the rest of the population on there. We have a marriage workshop called Fusion, which is 3 days. Also very powerful. We have our teen workshop. This is for high school age people. And I believe that is also on the calendar. And that's December 27th through the 30th in Fort Worth. It's called LEAP, L-E-A-P, and it's a camp experience. We send them out. They're on site, and again, it's a very intensive experience. A lot of the same principles as you experienced here. Very similar to our Awaken training for adults, but the LEAP is how I started GAP was with doing training for youth. Because I remember thinking, wow, if I had some of the ability to think, right, and to navigate and to explore my own conversations and to not get so captured by, all the stories and the feels, and my life would have looked different sooner, maybe. So I love just that opportunity for young people. So it's high school age. If you have anybody that you think would be interested, feel free to send them to the website. Would love to see them there. Any questions about GAP, about me, anything you're burning questions before we wrap up? Yeah, Tim.
There's no particular order to the different modules?
No, people do them in all kinds of orders.
Okay.
I mean, we do have a 2, a 3, and a 4, but, some people start with the 4 and then they end up with the 2.
It doesn't matter. You can just kind of...
Doesn't really matter.
Okay.
Mix and match.
About the reveal,
Uh-huh.
what is that?
So the reveal is our 3-day, and the focus of reveal, so this is designed to explore your leadership, right? The focus of reveal is to take a deep dive and explore the patterns or the strongholds that you find yourself repeating. It's really designed for insight in the sense of what's God revealing to you right now about your life, through your life, in your life. And there's a lot of the processing is done in small groups. All of our work is experiential, so there's always exercises and debriefs. But in the reveal, a lot of the work is done in a small group. There'll be an exercise, debrief, and then small group work versus a lot of back and forth with the trainer. There is some. It's just a different setup. Also very powerful. Yeah, people love it. Azusa Pacific has been using it in their seminary for the last 10 years, where they offer it as a elective class to their seminary students to help support people getting into a pastoral role, how to hear feedback, how to be more aware of their own internal biases and conversations to equip them for moving forward. So it's been a pleasure to partner with them.
Can you briefly explain T3?
Uh-huh. So T3 is our Train the Trainer, TTD. And we kick off our T3 with a TL, because in the T3, it's a 5-weekend process over 5 months where I'll train people in the disciplines of training and facilitation. So a lot of listening, Socratic inquiry, how to listen, ask questions, but really, ultimately, it's about presence and working with multiple conversations in a room and up here, all at the same time. So we use this 2-day curriculum as the subject matter, if you will, so that people can learn to train. And the 8 people in this class are going to learn to train this 2-day training. And then their last weekend together, which will be in March, they'll host a training themselves, and they'll train it as a group. They'll host a TL and they'll train it. Then when people graduate, we give them the IP. We just give it away. We just take it, do what you want with it, fly, be free, be amazing, and people can use it and apply it in whatever context, whatever context they want, or chunk it into modules, or do a million things with
You
it.
can also use the skill to then go on and create something.
Sure.
It's just
Or
part of the skill building.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, and a lot of people do it not necessarily because they want to train, but they're developing their own leadership, or they want to make sure that they're aware how to really synergize and navigate conversations, whether with their team in their company or sometimes in their family, or just a lot of different applications for it. Because the skills are really sticky and they're applicable in multiple kind of contexts. So that's the T3. Yeah. Any other questions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you were a chaplain for blah blah blah.
I was a Sonoma County law enforcement chaplain for 15 years. We served 11 different law enforcement agencies. So it's, police, fire, sheriff, highway patrol, the courts, like there was a lot. So mostly the chaplaincy here spends time supporting the police or fire, whatever, when there's a death. So doing the death notifications, being with the family, being on site with trauma, and I like my first 2 years were probably a dozen suicides. I don't know why. I was like, really, God, just more suicides, and just being there. So it's a really awesome program that we have here in Sonoma County. It's run by a dear friend of mine, Warren Hayes, and it's just powerful. The motto is just being there, because talk about getting comfortable with your powerlessness. That's a great format for that. You just be like, I got nothing, but I'm going to cry with you. I'm just going to be here. So yeah, it's been so many different scenarios. So yeah, I did that for 15 years. I was the second class to ever graduate, and it was an amazing experience. Heart-wrenching, but awesome. I mean, I could tell you stories, but I won't right now. But I'll tell you stories next time we have coffee, for sure. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah.
You want to talk about your social media?
Oh, yeah, thank you, social media guru over there. So Kyle is, if you've seen any of my social media, how many of you have seen any of my social media, my videos or anything? So Kyle is the genius that it's like, just sit and talk to me for a few minutes. I'm like, okay. And then he makes it look like I'm magical or something. I'm like, oh, that's good, I like it. So I have a YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed, do me a favor and just subscribe and heart it and do things, share it, because we're really doing everything we can to get the word out around transformational principles, whether that's in the corporate realm through my business, Yellow Marker, or whether it's through this nonprofit Gap community. So really that's the purpose. It's just like, let's just share the possibility with people, because there's always room for the transformation in life. Yeah, thanks, Kyle. Good job.
What's your YouTube channel?
Pardon me?
What's your YouTube channel?
Jean Marie Jobs.
Okay.
Easy to find.
All right.
She has Instagram as well.
I do. I have all the things that Kyle, whatever Kyle says I have.
Gene, you're a very good ventriloquist.
I know. What is it? That's amazing. Any other questions?
You said T3 when they graduate.
Uh-huh.
Does that mean they can fail?
There's no failing. Everyone gets an A+.
Okay.
A+.
Just curious.
We ain't gonna let you fail. Louise?
Why are you thinking
Nobody
that?
else in this room heard that.
Yeah.
Well,
Wow.
I want to make sure I don't miss anything. Luis, you fail. Okay.
Is there a roster?
Yes, we are going to do two things before we leave. We're going to, in just a minute, we'll take a group picture, because usually people love to have a group picture because of all your new, fresh bonding of goodness here. And we do have a roster.
I'll send it out.
As long as does anyone not want to share their information? Because that's also a choice. Okay, great. Then Janelle will send that out
Email it to everybody.
with the picture. And I'm going to pass out some feedback forms if you don't mind. Feedback, as we like to say in our ministry, feedback is the food of love. So just share some food of love, like what worked, what didn't work, etc. When you're done, you can give them to Janelle. The other piece is, because Gap Community is a nonprofit, normally we do receive an offering at the end of our trainings. We are not doing that this training. However, if you receive value and you would like to make a donation, you can do that on the app or on our website. We have tons of projects that we do in the United States, in Haiti, in the Philippines, in Zambia, working with underserved communities, with children, with moms, microfinance, microloans, all kinds of different things. We support Sonia in the work she does with veterans. We support Donnie in the work he does with Operation Safe Haven. So we don't keep a lot in. We do our best to be a nice funnel to cover what we need to cover and then give as much away as we can. So that's our joy as well. So if you'd like to donate, please don't let me stop you. Feel free. And if you have questions while you're doing your feedback forms, feel free to ask. I think maybe, Janelle, we take the picture in the lobby.